Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. We're on strike. It's hot labor summer, hot strike summer. We're transitioning into the fall. The WGA, the Writers Guild, and the SAG-AFTRA union we are both on strike. And now the United Auto Workers are going on strike. This is really big too. I mean, this is way bigger than Hollywood shutting down. And Hollywood being shut down is affecting like all of Los Angeles. It's affecting New York and all the ancillary businesses, because when you have so Los Angeles has all of these sound stages all over where people shoot movies and TV shows. And so when you have these shows with crews of 40, 50, 100 people, you've got caterers, you've got makeup, and then you've got all the other businesses. You've got drivers, you've got dry cleaners, you've got just, whatever, janitors, you've got people building the sets. You've got, and then just everybody in town is working in the industry. So then they all have money to go out to eat, to go shopping, to go this and that. And so the whole town is feeling it. Well, this is going to really affect Detroit, and the United Auto Workers is really going to affect the American economy, because the auto industry is still a big driver of the economy. So this just started, this strike, and I'm going to show you some clips from this union Twitter account that's following it, and then I'll show Jordan Sheridan, status quo. He goes on the streets, man. He really goes on the streets, and so he's interviewed some people. So we're going to just show you what's going on with the UAW strike that just started. So this is from More Perfect Union. New UAW strike is historic. Workers are tired of generating massive profits and getting so little. One union member stuck it to the CEOs. Is your time really worth 300 to 400 times more? Do you really work 3 to 4 times more harder than we do? No, you don't. As we've talked about, the issues that we're having in Hollywood with these big executives making all this money and the workers barely, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Amazon. It's the same thing with the auto workers. It's the same. It's all the same. So let's hear what they have to say, because the issues will sound very familiar to the people I've spoken to on walking the picket lines for the actors and writers strike.
Normally full Monday through Friday. Now it's empty due to the fact that we are on strike. We are fighting for what we deserve.
You can't expect these workers to make cars they can't afford to buy. This is just not about the UAW. This is about all active employees across the United States, because what happens here will happen everywhere.
It's been a long time coming.
It's history in the making.
No deal, no wheels.
For the first time in history, the United Auto Workers Union is striking against all big three automakers at once.
About 12,700 workers committed to a work stoppage at 3 locations.
The UAW is demanding pay raises of more than 40% for its members to match the pay raises of CEOs of the companies.
The strike became official overnight when that midnight deadline hit without a deal.
All of you know that there was once a time when a union job in the automobile industry was the gold standard for the working class in America. Well, we are determined to bring those days back again.
What do we want? When do we want it? And if we don't get it?
Peers put one man higher than another, and it shouldn't be that way. Because you got 2 people that do the same job at the same time. Tier 1 gets to enjoy his family working 40 hours a week. The Tier 2 guy has to work 60 to 70 hours a week just to make the same amount of pay that you're close to the Tier 1 guy. He goes home at night, he can't even hold his baby no more because he can barely hold his hands. Spends time soaking in hot baths because he can barely move.
The big 3, they have all of them CEOs, they have no idea what it feels like to be able to wake up in pain almost every day. Because we work those 6 to 7 days out the week, and we have no time to rest our bodies. They don't understand that, and they don't get what it's like trying to figure out if you're going to be able to eat or put food on your family's table the next day. They don't get that at all.
If we signed up for the UAW's request, instead of making money and distributing $75,000 in profit sharing in the last 10 years, we would have lost $15 billion and gone bankrupt by now.
You've seen a 34% pay increase in your salary. You make almost $30 million. Why should your workers not get the same type of pay increases that you're getting?
We think we have a very competitive offer on the table, and that's why we want to get back there and get this done.
Last year, these companies spent $9 billion not to improve the lives of their workers, but to pay for stock buybacks and dividends to make their wealthy stockholders even richer. Meanwhile, the average wage for American auto workers has decreased by 30% after adjusting for inflation. Do you want to know why you're out on strike right now? That's the reason.
Without our labor, this country couldn't function. They say that we're asking for too much, but really it's the CEOs and the corporate leaders that are having too much. There's no reason that they should be making, 300-400 times more than what I make or what my union brothers and sisters make. Is your time really worth 300 or 400 times more? Do you really work 300 or 400 times harder than we do? No, you don't.
Every human being wants to provide a better life for their family. That's what we work for. That's what we go to work every day for. So a 40% raise, that would finally make us feel like what we're doing is actually respected.
Since 1948, COLA, the cost of living adjustment, has been part of every single UAW contract until 2009. You all took the biggest hit. Plant closures destroyed communities. You guys got rid of coal. You did everything you were supposed to do so you can keep them afloat. And now that you're all struggling, our retirees are struggling, now they want to turn their backs to you while they give themselves 300 to 4 times more in pay.
They want to use scare tactics now, saying we're going to wreck the economy. In their economy, one of our workers would have to work 400 years to make what a CEO makes in 1 year. We're not going to wreck the economy. We're going to wreck their economy.
I like how Sean Fain is aggressive.
The thing about Sean Fain's leadership is he's accountable to the membership. He's the first UAW leader that was directly democratically elected by the membership. He's actually doing what the members want. He's taking our demands. They're not the president's demands, but the members' demands, and taking them to the companies. It's not just about him having a cushy job at Solidarity House or being a big-time union boss. It's about fighting for your members, and so I respect him for that.
Walter Reuther, when he built the UAW back in the day, he worked hard to build a foundation combined with the big three that everybody wanted to work for. If you were a UAW auto worker, that was a dream job. Sean's leading us back into that direction again.
He's kind of like, to me, like the big brother I need in order for somebody to lead me and help me grow more within the union with my union brothers and sisters. I'm prepared to fight to the end, and I hope everybody's ready, because I'm ready.
The only way that you're going to get economic justice in your life is by coming together with other working class people. Our only clout as a class is to withhold our labor. And through withholding our labor collectively and acting in concert, we can have power to make this economy work for working class people.
Together we stand in solidarity. In solidarity we stand together. Together we're unstoppable.
Union! Union!
That
Well, it's the same. I mean, like it brings a tear to my eye to see Bernie Sanders. I wish he would have fought harder to be our president, because then this would be not happening and be a lot better. But again, listen to the same thing. That CEO, oh, she's a woman, yay, diversity. She's making $30 million a year, just like the Bob Iger, the head of Disney, or Ted Sarandos, the head of Netflix. Those guys all make $30-some million a year. And then they always say, oh, if we paid these workers what they want, we'd go bankrupt. No, you wouldn't. You spent as Bernie said, we spent $9 billion on buybacks and bonuses for your shareholders and your rich executives. It's crazy. I mean, say what you want to say about Bernie, what he did. I'm not happy that he backed down in 2016 or 2020, but he's still out there fighting for workers. I'll give him credit for that. And listen, it's the same argument. With Amazon, it's the same argument. With the actors, it's the writers, it's the same argument. The auto workers, it's the same argument. The teachers, the nurses, it's like we all want a general strike, but we're going to kind of have this like grassroots piecemeal one that's going to everyone's going to be on strike eventually, because it's the same thing. The ruling elites, I've been talking about the ruling class on this show for 6-7 years now. This is what they do. This is why we're all on strike. And let me show you, we're going to interview a couple more people. I'm going to show you a couple more interviews that Jordan Sheridan on Status Quo. He went out and interviewed people, and listen to this.
You hear this term income inequality. I think that's the wrong term. This is just theft. It sounds to me like these companies are wage slavery, you said.
Yeah, wage slavery. I mean, how can someone work 6 hours, 6 days, 10 hours a week, or 10 hours a day, and still not be able to afford? You can't even afford a cat. You wanted a cat. Like
A cat, you said?
We get kids. We can't afford an animal. We wanted an animal. Like
The house plants I have, just to water them, and buy soil and stuff for them. Let alone a child or a cat.
Take care of it. It's not feasible in today's economy. I definitely am thankful for people who are able to provide for their kids, but the extra stress is just to think about that even now. It's crazy.
This fight really goes beyond the UAW, far beyond the UAW, because this isn't something that's just happening here. This is happening all across America. It's really a result of the system we have that we run this country on. The workers, we produce all the value that produces all the profits for these corporations, and we barely see 100th or 1,000th of the value we actually produce. Now, all this value, the surplus value we produce, is going to these corporations and these rentiers, and everybody but the people who are doing the work, basically.
I don't know. What are you, in your 30s?
Yeah, I just turned 30 on July 1st.
Okay. So it seems to me, all this bullshit about the American dream, you hear Biden and, both sides do it, talking about the strong economy, if there's low unemployment. The economy seems to be kind of this game of like an economic Hunger Games where it's like everybody's fighting for scraps while Stellantis' COO is drinking 2 margaritas on his hammock.
It's almost like he's existing in an economy that's running parallel to the one me and you and all the rest of us have to enjoy, where we have to, go, okay, well, I only got X amount of money and I need to buy this food to live. I need to pay rent to live, It's just like you're struggling to get by, even when you feel like you're supposed to be comfortable. Like I could be 2-3 paychecks away from being homeless, working at having a good job that people think,
So hats off to Jordan Sheridan for going on the street. So I support the UAW. I support the nurses, the teachers. I support Amazon workers because I'm in a union, and the reason we're on strike is the same reason they're all on strike. Meanwhile, Sean Penn wants us to spend more money on war in Ukraine because Sean Penn is still making probably a nice 7-figure income from his 4 decades of residual checks. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. Shave your knuckles with justice and union strong. Boom!